Hi, I'm Todd Sones. I'm coming to you from the Todd Sones Impact Golf School, located at White Deer Run Golf Club in Vernon Hills, Illinois. That was a high toss shot. It's a shot you need to hit whenever you're faced with a situation where maybe you have to go over a bunker or out of the rough or onto a green that's higher than you are. You need a high shot that lands softly on the green. A couple keys to a high toss shot. First is, and the reason we call it a toss shot is because really what you're doing is tossing a golf ball. Think about it. Tilt forward from the hip joint so that your arm can hang into your body. This is the first area where a lot of players make a mistake. They kind of set into the golf ball in poor posture and now their arm can't swing under their body. So get in good posture. Tilt forward from the hip joint so that your arm has passage and clearance to swing under your body and to the target. So there's good posture. Now the second thing that's really important, when you swing the club back, you swing it back straight, but you have to rotate the face so the toe of the golf club points up or the leading edge is at right angles to the ground. If the club is pointed down or the toe is down, you won't have enough loft to hit the ball high in the air unless you try to scoop it, and that'll create another problem. So we want to swing the club straight back, and we want to make sure we get the toe of the club up in the air. That's the most important point from this view. From this view, what I want you to understand is how important it is to strike down on the golf ball. The reason why most people miss these shots is because the opposite, they're swinging up in the golf ball in an effort to help it get in the air. They're actually trying to lift the ball instead of letting the loft of the golf club lift the ball for them. So once we've taken the club back properly, remember we said rotate the face so the toe is up. Now I have loft. So now the key is make sure I swing the club down so I can deliver the golf club and allow the loft to lift the golf ball. One major component to that is stand to the handle. We preach about it at our scoring zone schools. Make sure that when you set up to the golf ball that the spine angle of your body is straight up and down to the ground and never tilted back. This is such a common problem we see around the green where people tilt back and they hit up on the golf ball. They blade it or they chunk it. So when I set up to the golf ball, I want to make sure the shaft is straight to hit a high shot. I stand to the handle, the spine is neutral with a narrow stance, and now from here I swing the club straight back and I really concentrate on striking down on the golf ball, allowing the loft of the golf club to lift the ball. If you do those three things, I promise you really start hitting higher, softer shots around the green and you'll do much better.
Hi, I'm Tyler Kellett with Crank Golf. I finished third this year at the RE/MAX World Long Drive Championships, and I'm here to talk to you today about how to improve your leg and your impact resistance in your swing. So essentially by leg I'm talking about is the angle between your leading arm and your shaft, holding it as long as possible in your golf swing, then converting to your impact resistance, which is essentially your forearm strength at impact with the ball. Now, I don't want you to think that you have to have really big forearms in order to have really good impact resistance, because you're not trying to physically squeeze the club at impact as hard as you can. What you're trying to do is improve your strength with your arms in their weakest state, which is essentially loose at impact. I'm going to demonstrate that now. That's how you hit it long.
The most important thing to remember about the grip in golf is leverage. What you're trying to do with your grip is create leverage for power and return the club face to square. Now here's the key about leverage. Whenever you need leverage, make sure that your palm is on top of the golf club. One of the common mistakes we see with people is they get the club to the side of their palm or their palm to the side of the grip. And at that point you really can't put downward pressure on the grip to give yourself leverage. So if I have my palm on top of the grip, then at that point I can push down, which would create leverage as I swing the club back. The club levers up and that would allow me to strike down on the golf ball and create some power and square the club face. So here's some simple things you can do to make sure you have a good grip. One is always start with your arm to the side. A common mistake that we see in the grip is when people put the club out in front of their body and then they swing their arm to it and they almost naturally palm the club. So get in the habit of letting your arm hang to the side in good posture. Feel the club sit down into your fingers, and when you do that, make sure the club face, when you lift it up, the leading edge of the club is at right angles to the ground, so you have a good grip with a square club face. And at that point, you should be able to hinge, you have a lever. Now, from here, we want to apply your back hand, your right hand if you're a right-handed player, to the golf club, and I want you to think of sideways power. So if you're slapping something, your palm would take impact. If you're punching something, your knuckles would take impact. Golf is a side-on game, so we need to apply sideways power. So once you have your lead hand on the golf club that gives you leverage so you could lift the club up, then I want you to bring your right hand up, your trail hand, and make sure the club sits down in your fingers. Now, whether or not you interlock or overlap or even put all your fingers on the club is a preference that we'll find out whatever way is right for you. But I interlock, so I'll interlock my hands, and you can see the grip is sitting down in my fingers, and then my lifeline fits over my thumb. And so at that point, I really now have both palms on top of the golf club where I can put downward pressure that would allow the club to swing back and create a lever, and then as the club swings down, it would release the lever for power and square the club face. The last thing I'll say about the grip is pressure. One of the common mistakes we see people is when they have a poor grip, they hold the club too tightly. A good grip allows you to relax and hinge the golf club and release the club, but you got to make sure that you're relaxed so that it can work and the lever can work properly. So remember these keys, and it'll help you to put your hands on the golf club the best way possible so that you can get leverage, power, and square the face at impact.